Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street.
Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. This is a lovely Monday afternoon, and we are going to be diving right back into a matter that is of concern to all of us, and that is the Constitution. Last week, and I think the time we met before, we were talking about the Nationality Act and comparing it to the Constitution, and we're going to continue to do that today with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson. But before we dive into the show, let me go ahead and give you all of the information as to how you can take part in today's show. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, also streaming on our official YouTube channels. You can call in at 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for text messages or calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. So let's bring Professor Thompson into the virtual studio. He's sitting here with us in the physical studio. I hope I didn't. There we go. Okay. Professor, welcome.
Well, thank you, Ms. Malcolm, and good evening, Bahamas. It's good to be here. This is, of course, Constitution Monday on Global Radio 99.5 FM, and I'm delighted to see that so many of you out there. I remember when I went into a store this past weekend, my sister could hardly get me out of the shop. Just about everybody who heard about me, they came over to me, and everybody started asking constitutional questions.
They asked you autograph?
Well, no, they didn't ask for an autograph. But as soon as the word got out, then everybody started coming over. And I entertained them because, I mean, it's good to see that Bahamians are taking an active interest in the Constitution, because I'm going to have to call on them because something big is about to happen very soon. And I'm going to tell them there's a team that's being organized, a highly organized team, to deal with these national issues. And I'm going to be a part of that team. And it's going to be highly organized. And we have to get the facts. We must always have hardcore facts. And when I speak on constitutional issues, personal opinions go out the window. And what happens is that we have to deal with the Constitution itself. What does the Constitution say? Not what Mr. Thompson may feel or think. the interest is very high. I am delighted to see the interest is so high with the Bahamian people. And Bahamians, please keep it up because we're going to need your loyal and faithful support as we move forward. Because we have some big issues to deal with. It's not a one-person thing. It's a national issue, and it's going to take the Bahamian people collectively to bring about a resolution.
Well, I am very honored to be a part of that process, Professor. And I want to thank you for agreeing to make this a regular part of your afternoon routine on a Monday afternoon.
Thank you.
And clearly, it's gaining traction. More and more people are paying attention, like you said, and
Yes.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Wonderful.
It tells me
Good.
that our efforts are not in vain.
Oh, yes. Praise the Lord for that.
People paying attention.
Yes, they certainly are.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so last week we continued looking at the Nationality Act because what we discovered is that there seems to be, I don't know if confusion is the right word, but some decisions seem to be based on what is written in the Nationality Act, which sometimes does not exactly match what's in the Constitution.
That's correct.
And as a result, if you put it side by side, you realize that some decisions have been made over the years that really go against the Constitution.
That's correct.
And so the question is, why are we allowing this to continue? And how has it not been discovered before? Or has it been discovered and has been ignored?
It's a good question that you ask. Let me answer it this way. I just recently got to know about the Nationality Act. I didn't even know it existed until it was brought to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the heading of the Nationality Act, that concerned me a lot. I said, well, this is a constitutional matter. Why do you have a statute law talking about something that is explained in the Constitution itself, which is the supreme law?
Mm-hmm.
Then I came to see that, maybe there were some other motives by certain personalities, but you just have to go by what is written. And it is so close to the time the Constitution was to come into effect, and this Nationality Act was to come into effect at the same time.
Okay.
And right then my understanding was suspicious. Why do you have a Nationality Act? For what purpose? Okay. Now, I haven't gotten any additional details as to why certain things went down, but I have to look into it a little bit more. But we're doing our investigations on it. But you have to go by what is written. What does the Act say? That's one. What does the Constitution say? Article 2 of the Constitution says, if any other law is inconsistent or it goes contrary to this Constitution, to the extent of that inconsistency, it is null and void.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it could be the entire law, or it could be a portion of that law. That part which is not contrary to the Constitution, fine. We got no problem with that. That which is inconsistent or going contrary to the Constitution, that's where the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to examine these things because obviously something is seriously wrong when you're using a statute. And I heard some comments today on another radio station, and it just goes to show you the contempt and disrespect that certain personalities have toward the supreme law of the land. I was very disappointed. In fact, I called into the show and I asked the question, how could you say that certain people did something against themselves? I said, anytime when you have a referendum on any issue,
Mm-hmm.
it is final. That's it. It goes no further than that. And yet there are people who are arguing and bickering and arguing and bickering about something that the Constitution says is final, lock, stock, and barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Do we understand that? See, the Constitution can only be changed through a referendum. And I heard some misinformation going over the airwaves today about the House of Assembly agreeing with it, and the Senate agreeing with it. So what if they agree with it? It must go to the Bahamian people in a referendum, and they have to give their consent and their approval. That's what the law says. That's what the Supreme Law says.
Mhm.
And there are some people who want a government to pass legislation to bypass the Constitution. I have very serious problems with that, because that can't stand. When the Constitution says something, that is it. Whether you agree or disagree, that's a different kettle of fish. But the Constitution is what reigns supreme, not the views and the ideas and opinions of some other people, or they want something to happen. And sometimes, Ms. Malcolm and Bahamians, you have people who purport to present things that are not constitutionally sound.
Mhm.
And we're going to look at this act and ask the question, is it constitutionally sound? And the answer would either be yes or the answer would be no.
Okay, so let's dive right in. I
Yes, let's
believe
dive right into
that
it.
when we were tackling this last week,
Yes.
we were, I believe, at, let's see, this would be general clauses, I think. I
Yes,
think we
ma'am.
had, we finished with the interpretations.
Yes.
And we were on general clauses, and we had
Process.
tackled the clause that talks about a person being legitimized, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think we did not get to the number 4 on the section 3 under I don't know what to call it, section article 3, whatever, of the general clauses. And that number 4 says, for the purposes of this act, a person born aboard a registered ship or aircraft shall be deemed to have been born in the place where the ship or aircraft was registered, and a person on board an unregistered ship or aircraft of the government of any country shall be deemed to have been born in that country.
Now, that is correct. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that at all. They
Okay.
took that, they lifted that right out of the Constitution. Now, let me just say this.
Mhm.
When you look at the facts, it would appear as if that whoever was behind this scheme lifted certain things out of the Constitution
Mhm.
and put some other things in there that are not constitutional.
Okay.
Now, those who know better have to help the Bahamian people to understand the difference. And this is why I take my time to explain in simple, basic, fundamental language what is going on. That portion that you just read, accurate, precise, right to the T.
Mhm.
No problem with that.
Mhm.
But when you try to take something else and tying it in with the Nationality Act and tying it with the Constitution, that's where the problem comes in.
Okay.
So there are certain portions in the Nationality Act that are accurate and precise, which would become, just like you read that point just now,
Mhm.
that is perfectly constitutional. So
Okay.
no problem with that.
Okay.
However, as we go further, you're going to see some other things.
All right. Well, let's go further.
Yes.
Okay, so we're now entering part 2, acquisition of citizenship. And again, for
Yes.
those of you who are just joining us, what we're doing is we're looking at the Bahamas Nationality Act and comparing it to the Constitution to see where the two are in agreement and where the two are not.
And if I may just make a point, if you could just look at the opening part of the Nationality Act, there are 4 specific things that they purport to consider. Right at the first page, right on the very front page, is 4 specific things. Acquisition is one, and there are 3 others. Renunciation is another one, and 2 more that are there. I want you to give that to the public.
Okay?
Yeah.
So,
Tell them those 4 things.
acquisition of citizenship, loss of citizenship, certification.
And renunciation.
And no, the last thing is miscellaneous.
No, it's right at the very beginning.
So, okay, part 1 is preliminary. That deals with the short title, the interpretation of general clauses. That's where we're at right now.
Okay.
That's part 1. Part 2 is acquisition of citizenship.
Yes. No, what I was saying was that why the act was set up. Acquisition, renunciation, certification. And I think this is one other. It was basically 4. But anyhow, you could deal with acquisition. That's not a problem.
Okay.
What they're doing now is going through.
Oh, I see what
each
you're
one.
saying.
Yeah.
It says an act to provide for the
Right.
acquisition, certification, renunciation, and deprivation of citizenship of the Bahamas,
Right.
and for the purpose incidental thereto or connected therewith.
Good. Okay. I just wanted the Bahamian people to understand why this act was set up for those 4 specific things. So anytime when you are looking at what they're saying in there, then you think about that and analyze it based on what the Constitution says about those very 4 specific things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Now you on acquisition.
Yes. Part 2, number 4, acquisition of citizenship. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll read this,
Yes, ma'am.
and then I'll let you break it down for us to explain what this means. Okay. Where under a law in force in the Bahamas relating to the adoption of children, an adoption order is made by a competent court in respect of a minor who is not a citizen of the Bahamas, then if the adopter, or in the case of a joint adoption, the male adopter is a citizen of the Bahamas, the minor shall become a citizen of the Bahamas from the date of the order.
Now I have a problem with that. Now, see, this is the problem with this act here, because the Constitution is not talking about anything like what they just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, about acquisition. The Constitution specifically says what the requirements are for citizenship. You know, we went through the entire gamut of that
Right,
for the Bahamian people.
right.
Now, this thing, what they're talking about, that's something totally different.
Adoption.
Adoption.
So the Constitution doesn't address adoption.
It doesn't address that at all, period. Okay, that's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I keep saying, is that they are putting pieces of the Constitution in this act, and they're putting some other things in there that the Constitution does not speak as it requires. They're talking about acquisition and talking about making a particular person a citizen. This is very serious business, and we're not to be trifling around with the supreme law of the land by writing other things in there that the Constitution does not even speak to. That's the problem. Now, if you want to talk about adoption, them other things, well, that might come under statute law. That's a different kettle of fish. But you cannot tie that in with it, constitutional law. They're 2 different types of law altogether, and people need to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Those adoption laws, those laws, statute laws, that's a totally different kettle of fish.
So do you suspect that the reason why, and I think we sort of covered this last week,
You may have.
do you suspect that the reason why, or one of the reasons why they felt it was necessary to come up with this Nationality Act is because they overlooked within the Constitution matters like adoption, and figured that, well, you know, this was an oversight, so perhaps we need to create something else to you know, to fill that void?
That may be a possibility. And I also understood that there were some things that where some people from the British Nationality Act were cut off, and we will see that in our Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
where it specifically speaks to that. And it says certain persons who were ordinarily resident in the Bahama Islands.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was called then.
Right.
All right. Now, all I'm saying is that with this, what they're coming up with now, that is a problem, because you cannot mix up statute law and constitutional law. The 2 don't work like that. One is subservient to the Constitution. As long as it doesn't violate the Constitution, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But now when you're talking about what you just read there, that's a totally different kettle of fish.
Okay.
So let me just explain this to the audience. What I'm saying, Bahamians, is that you cannot use statute laws to circumvent constitutional laws.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nullity altogether. When the High Court that the highest court in the land look at it. It's not going to look at no statute law. It's going to say, what does the Constitution say? That's what's important. As long as whatever they are bringing forward does not conflict with the Constitution, fine. Where there's a conflict, that's a problem.
Okay. So your opposition or your concern with what we just read is not because it opposes anything in the Constitution. It's just that it's not addressed in the Constitution, and that's why you have an issue with it?
I do have an issue with it because when you talk about citizenship, come on. The Constitution is very specific when it comes to citizenship. We got a whole section. Articles, is it 14? I think 14, if I'm not mistaken. 14 articles, Ms. Malcolm, which covers everybody.
Is it your view, I hear the music playing and I know we have to go to a break, but is it your view that that particular portion of the Bahamas Nationality Act that we just read about adoption, is it your view that that can be exploited to the degree where persons could sort of come through the back door using that particular
That
article?
is a strong possibility, yes, ma'am. That is quite right. I'm glad you mentioned it that way because, see, the thing is that you cannot mix constitutional law and statute law. This is the problem we have with people doing this kind of foolishness. Okay? Constitutional law is supreme. It stands by itself.
Mm-hmm.
All others fall under it. So you don't mix the two like that. That's a dangerous mixture. Very dangerous. And
Right.
you could very well be making a lot of mistakes. And I can tell you that I am aware, now that I'm beginning to look at this thing even more closely, that some strange things occurred right at the very beginning, July 10th, 1973. And I'm very disappointed.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
okay.
Let's take this break.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on this Masterclass Monday. We'll be back in a minute.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson. We are looking at the Constitution of the Bahamas, which we do every Monday in our masterclass. However, we are in the midst of comparing the Bahamas Nationality Act to the Constitution of the Bahamas to see where there may or may not be any kind of discrepancies therein. If you'd like to be a part of the conversation, that's easy. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for calls or messages is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you're watching us on Facebook, I'd like to encourage you to please like and share the show and let everyone know that GPS is on the air and they need to be tuning in to learn more about our rights and responsibilities as it relates to the Constitution of the Bahamas, which is the supreme law of the land.
I just want to say this to the general public because, Ms. Malcolm, some things need to be repeated.
Okay.
When you look at all the articles relating to citizenship, they're very, very serious. Every single aspect of persons is covered in that Constitution. People born outside the country, people born inside the country, people away on work permits, but under certain conditions, of course. The Constitution spells that out very clearly. Foreigners who happen to have children in the Bahamas, neither of who is a Bahamian. That covers everybody outside British Commonwealth countries.
Right.
Everybody is covered. And it grieves my spirit when you have people writing things which are not in accordance with the Constitution, and every single one of those articles, the only way you could change that is through a referendum. That's another thing you got to understand. You cannot use statute law to change constitutional law. Constitutional law is final. It has to go to referendum by the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I'm delighted to be how the Founding Fathers set it up. In other words, you cannot tamper with the Constitution lightly. And you have this current administration is not even interested in having a referendum. So what are you governing for? For who? And for what? When the Constitution says you have to have a referendum, it has to be approved by the people. This is their country. So how do you want to make something up which you don't want to bring to the people? Well, then that raises suspicion right off the top. And you create this Nationality Act certain portions of it, that portion that you mentioned before they wrote that other thing about adoption and things like that, accurate and precise. So do not be shafted by some things that were lifted out of the supreme law, placed in the Nationality Act, and then under that, they put some other things which are not constitutional.
So if it was already in the Constitution, why do you think they thought it was important to include it in the Nationality Act?
That's a good question. That's to throw you off. Because now you're saying, that's why I said, when you read it, I know that to be 100% correct. So I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Constitution already tells me that. So what you putting it there for? Obviously, somebody had some ulterior motives. So when people read it, they say, oh yeah, that's in the Constitution. The assumption could very well be, if they're not trained and understand the Constitution, because a lot of people don't know it, and we got to stop not knowing now. That's why I'm here every Monday, by the grace of God, to help the masses to understand. My job is to get to the ordinary people. That woman in Baintown who's cooking right now, she got one transistor radio. She listens to the show. She got no time to look on no internet for nothing. She's struggling with them 5 boys and man and Fox who are looking for 6, with his $6. He told me trying to find young men to marry those girls. He's having a tough time. All I'm saying is those are the kind of people we need to help. And the woman in Engliston with 4 disabled children, we can't forget her. These are the people who need to understand. And I come here specifically to get to the masses, because we're going to need them to be able to do some things that are essential to change this country, and not leaving any stone unturned when it comes to that.
Somebody on Facebook is making a comment I want you to reply to. Bruce says citizenship is not nationality.
Citizenship is not nationality?
Yeah.
What does he mean?
I don't know.
If he could just clarify that, maybe I can answer him. But I don't know if he's throwing a curveball or what. But he's entitled to a view, and I accept that.
Mm-hmm.
But if he could put a little bit more clarity to it, I could give him a constitutional answer. That's all he's going to get from me. But see, I don't want to speculate on that. And he might mean well with what he's saying. So once I could get clarity as to what he or she is saying, then I can answer it constitutionally. So if he could just send something and,
Okay.
that would be good.
All right. So let's continue now going to the Nationality Act. Item number 5, Part 1. Subject to the provisions of this section, the minister may, at his discretion, cause any person of full age and capacity.
Stop right there. Notice, the minister at his discretion. Where did that come from? Who is of full age? Where did that come from? Anyhow, start again and then finish reading. Those, Ms. Malcolm, I'm trained in constitutional law, and those are the kind of things I pick up right away. The average person may not understand that or see that. My job is to help them to understand. But start it all over again and continue, please.
Okay. Subject to the provisions of this section, the minister may at his discretion cause any person of full age and capacity who is a Commonwealth citizen or a British protected person to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas if that person makes application for such registration to the minister in the prescribed manner and satisfies the minister that he is qualified to be so registered under the provisions of the second schedule.
I have a problem with all of that. See, the Constitution is very specific when it comes to British Commonwealth persons. We got whole sections of articles in there. Those who were born outside, those who were born within what was the Bahama Islands at the time, the Constitution is very specific. Now, I don't know about this discretion thing. I don't see that in the Constitution. The Constitution is very specific. Here is what you must have. There are some who have to be, who get things automatic. The Constitution speaks to that.
Mhm.
And there are some, again, they got to go through the process. Now, that the way how they have that written up in there like that, no. I don't buy into that. Something's wrong with that. The minister, at his discretion, come on, where did that come from? Show me that in the Constitution, then I'll believe it.
That's actually kind of dangerous, eh?
It is dangerous. Notice the wording, how it's written. Maybe you should read that again so the public can hear that, you know.
Okay, so but before I do, I just Googled citizenship versus nationality.
Okay.
The question is, how are citizenship and nationality different?
Okay.
The answer provided by this website I just found says, nationality indicates the place where a person or his parents are born. Citizenship is legally acquired after fulfilling the eligibilities of becoming a citizen of any country.
That's correct. That is correct. Now, see, that brings clarity to my mind because that's true.
Uh-huh.
You see, anyone, well, let's put it this way. Anyone who applies for citizenship in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, this is where that other personality went completely off. I'll deal with that at another time. The point is, you are a citizen of some other country. Citizenship, that's the original citizenship of that, but you would have that at the time you were applying to be a citizen of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
That's your nationality. Now, that same person doesn't want to be there anymore. They want to come somewhere else. So you have to make the necessary application for citizenship in that particular country, whether it's the Bahamas or whoever.
Okay.
So I agree with that. That's the difference. Now, if he had said that, then, you know, I just wanted to make sure. Now that you saw it, no, that's clear in my mind now. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. All right. But that doesn't change what you're arguing.
Oh, no, it doesn't change anything. Because, see, the thing is, I hear the fella tell me what you was when you were before 18, what you are at the time you're 18, and what you are after you're 18. This is utter nonsense and foolishness. Your nationality ain't changed. You're applying to be a citizen of a particular country. So whether you were before 18, during 18, after 18, the nationality remains the same. That's your status. See, when people talk nonsense, it irks me, Ms. Malcolm. Because if you go strictly by, I'm so delighted that I studied constitutional law, and the way how the founding fathers put this thing together, I just love it the way it is. There's nothing wrong with the Constitution. The Constitution is always right. It is never, ever wrong. I may be the only one who says that. But that's the truth. I want somebody to tell me where the Constitution is wrong. The Constitution is for everybody. It is always right. It is never wrong. So if you want to always be right, stay with your Constitution. And let me add it. You remember last Monday we had the persons who answered that question I asked some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Someone sent in a text. Someone made the call. And I said, that is the answer. What is important is your Constitution, which is your salvation document. And Bahamians, please take this very seriously, because we are under serious threat of losing that which God has given us. And we're going to have to put up a big fight. And this is going to take more than just one or two people. It's going to be a national fight for the salvation of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And the only thing you have is your salvation document, which is the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's the only thing that stands out. Everything else falls down to the ground.
I have a question coming in
Yes.
sent on our WhatsApp line. It says, is it possible to have a child born in the U.S., married to the American mother, and the father is Bahamian? Can the child apply for a Bahamian passport and get dual citizenship? The father is married to the American mother.
Okay, I'm glad they asked that. Now, let me just say right off the top, the Bahamas Constitution never supports duality of citizenship. Let's make that very clear. You check the citizenship articles, it doesn't support duality of citizenship. If you want to be a citizen of the Bahamas, you're a citizen of another country. The process is, part of the process that you have to renounce the citizenship of that particular country or countries that you have. You're renouncing nothing, ain't nothing happening for you. Ain't nothing supposed to happen for you. And so we have had a lot of things happen which is not in the best interest of the Bahamian people. And that's not fair. It's not fair to me, who's a genuine citizen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Let me make that clear. And others are, because we were there from the beginning. It started with us, who were citizens of the United Kingdom and colonies, born in the Bahama Islands.
Mm-hmm.
On the 10th of July, 1973, you transfer that citizenship from the British colony over to becoming a Bahamian citizen in the new nation, the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I just love how this thing's set up, you know. But then you didn't have to do that. You could have gone somewhere else. The Constitution allows you to do that. You said, I want to go with them fellas because I know what they can do. Well, they went somewhere else. Some people did that. They never became Bahamian citizens. So the thing is, we got to be very, very careful with this thing about citizenship. And then another thing, we need to put a quota on these things. You cannot naturalize X number of people where they outnumber your indigenous population. That's a serious thing. And it doesn't seem as if he got any quota. I got to find out from immigration what is the quota. Because from what I understand with the current minister, he's saying they got all these people, they need to check this out, check out the next thing and so on. Fine. They found a lot of fraud going on. People who got citizenship, they shouldn't have it. That happened.
Well, the latest statistics released with regard to us, what do you call it, when they check to see the population census,
Yes.
is that there were fewer births, more deaths, but yet the population exploded by over 40,000. And they are suspecting that some of that had to do with the migration population
Yes.
coming into the country.
Okay.
So very interesting indeed what you just said.
Yes. And then here's another thing. With the census, I wasn't even counted. Many of my family members were not counted in the census. See, I have a problem with that. The census counts once every 10 years.
How come you all weren't counted?
I don't know.
'Cause
I can inquire about it too.
They knock on my door once 10 times.
I was in the same location from the time I was born. I ain't going nowhere.
Nobody came to you?
Not a living one. It happened to my sister in the area where she is too.
You sure you just wasn't on?
No. They're always there.
Okay.
But they never came. Now, my sister said she saw some people moving around in the area, but never came to her. But I remembered when they came to me and they asked me a lot of questions.
Mhm.
They asked others in the house a lot of questions. That's fine. See, you need to know who is here, who is Bahamian, who is not.
Right.
But I don't know what kind of nonsense
So
is. I had
so you think that the statistics that they're releasing as to the findings of that census are still not accurate? You think
no,
they're still...
it cannot be accurate because I ain't there. And a lot of my family members ain't there. So how could it be accurate? You are leaving genuine Bahamians out of the census. That is wrong, Ms. Malcolm. What kind of nonsense is that? And I hear them talking about doing something over the phone. When I heard that, I was very upset.
Why?
You got to go out and see and count the people, that they are there. Anyone could tell you any piece of crap over the phone. You have to see them, Miss Malcolm. They came out and they counted and they saw me. They saw members of the household. And you put that into the record. They even let the political fellas do better than them. They just go out and count. They got to count. They should learn from them. And they've been doing that before 67. Huh?
I guess these were exceptional times because of COVID. Remember now,
you cannot keep making excuses. Either you're going to do your job or give the job to somebody else who can do it. Because I wouldn't mind participating in the census. Or whatever area I'm supposed to cover, I go into every house. No matter how many times I have to go there, I'll be and get an accurate count of who's in that house.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Lady Malcolm.
Hi.
And good afternoon to Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson.
Good afternoon, sir.
I called today. I rise on a point of information in this honorable house today.
Oh, Lord.
In support of McArthur Walter Thompson, because I live on 4th and Castle, just a stone's throw down the street from him, and the people ain't check me either. So I ain't counted in the census either. Full bloom Bahamian. Ain't counted. They ain't never knock on my door. But McArthur Walter Thompson, they go into them blue and white place though.
Yeah.
They go on there. Now, if we put it all together, Lady Malcolm, now we understand why ain't much is being done with this immigration thing. Because as long as you could keep the people dumb and dumb down and don't read, like we say, Bahamians ain't gonna read, and you could have a population that overruns the Bahamian and they can't read and they semi-illiterate, then that plays right into the hands of the politician. That is what they want. They don't want no sensible people. That's why they ain't really checking for the masses, the Bahamian masses. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
I'm delighted that he called in because he is a genuine Bahamian citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was not counted. And there are probably others in the same area where he is that were not counted. And I'm very disturbed over that. I got to talk to them, whoever's in charge of that census situation, because I'm displeased that my name is not on the census.
Well, I see a couple of people on Facebook commenting that they weren't counted either.
See, this is why I keep saying to the Bahamian people, you have to look at what your government is doing. In past census, yes, I was in the count because they came. This one, for whatever reason, they ain't come. And if you have to cut the numbers down smaller, make sure that every person is counted. And they had the commercials running all the time saying every person count. But I wasn't counted, and I'm dead angry about that. And other members of my family are upset. We got a large family too, all them pigeons in there. They were not counted. So the census really is inaccurate, and they got less than 400,000, they say, on the census.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But no, we have to, if we're going to have people doing the job, you got to do it well. There's no reason under the sun why we cannot count every single person in the Commonwealth Bahamas. We can't even make a good-sized county. County starts at 500,000 and up. Come on, man. We're a nation of less than 500,000. You can't count everybody? What kind of nonsense is this? Most of the people in the Bahamas live on New Providence, 21/7. And if you organize it properly, you will get an accurate count as to how many people are on this island. But it has not been done. And I'm delighted that the caller called in. And then you said some others on Facebook is saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Bahamians, we got to speak out about this, man. I'm going to tell my representative when I see him, because I ain't seen him since the time he got elected.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wanted to see him, but, he ain't available for whatever reason. I have to tell him point blank, I'm not even in the census. So what kind of nonsense is that?
We have to take a break, Professor. When we come back, we're going to continue discussing the Nationality Act in comparison with the Constitution of the Bahamas. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. The telephone numbers to call if you have a question or comment: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for calls or text messages is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages on Facebook, and you can like and share the show there. We are also streaming to YouTube on our official channels, and you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. And if for any reason you can't watch the entire show live as we stream, it will always be up on the Facebook pages or the YouTube channels that you can go back later and watch the show in its entirety. So for those of you who are watching it by means of a recording, welcome to you as well. So every Monday around these parts, we do what we call a master class on the Constitution of the Bahamas. Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson has been coming in and sharing his knowledge with us as it relates to the Constitution of the Bahamas. And we sort of stuck a pin in it because we realized that there was another law out there by way of the Bahamas Nationality Act. And it seems that many of the decisions that are being made based on what is contained in the Nationality Act. And you may say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, the only problem is there are times when, from what we see so far, what is contained in the Nationality Act either is not addressed in the Constitution or goes against what the Constitution says point blank. And as Professor Thompson often says, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. So if you have another legislation or a piece of legislation that goes against what is written in the Constitution, no matter how much that legislation is being followed, how popular it is, whatever, if you put it side by side, the Constitution should always come out the winner. Correct?
That's correct. And I'm delighted to be how you explained it to the general public, that you were very accurate and precise with what you said. Now, the thing is that I just happened to do this because I didn't even know that the act even existed. But then when I came to understand it, and when I saw those four things that they were talking, say the act purportedly supposed to deal with, I was even offended by what they say it is supposed to do. Because they say, wait a minute now, hold on. Those four things are supposed to be dealt with by the Constitution. So you don't need no act for that. And I knew at some point I would have to take, and I always used to tell people, you know, I said one of these days I'm going to take one of these pieces of legislation that they passed in the House of Assembly and strip it from top to bottom, take all the legal crap out of it, and explain to the Bahamian people in simple, basic, fundamental language, is it constitutionally sound, yes or no? But I didn't even know it was going to be this one. And little did I know I was going to be doing it on your show. It just how the things worked itself out that I just happened to understand it was there. And I came to you and I said, Ms. Malcolm, we got a problem here because here is an act purportedly addressing citizenship issues when we have more than, I think, about 14 articles in the Constitution that deals specifically with citizenship for every single person from any nation on the planet who is interested in being a Bahamian citizen. Most of the articles cover British Commonwealth colonies. Once they become independent, that's a whole horse of a different color.
Right.
And that's where I believe a lot of mistakes were made, because some of them were independent before we became independent, so they won't qualify as a colony anymore. And see, these are the things you have to look at, because the Constitution says British colonies, United Kingdom and colonies. Ain't say United Kingdom and independent entities. Ain't say nothing like that. And so I got offended when they talk about what Commonwealth means in this act. When I look at the Constitution, It's only one Commonwealth. It's the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Commonwealth I know. Now, United Kingdom and colonies. That is what the Constitution has. A lot of articles in there that speak to them because we were part of the British Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
And we were a colony. So they had to make sure, put that thing in there. Those are on the outside, those in the inside, and some other people from some other places under a different article, of course, but still in the same section to deal with citizenship.
Okay. All right, so let's continue now
Yes, ma'am.
through the Nationality Act. So we're finished with 5.1 in terms of talking about
What the minister said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did request of you to read it again in the audience.
Okay.
Because, while I was listening to it, I knew in my mind, I said, wait a minute now, something wrong with this.
All
But
right.
anyway, just read it for the sake
I'll read
of
it
the
again.
audience. Yeah.
It says, subject to the provisions of this section, the minister may at his discretion cause any person of full age and capacity who is a Commonwealth citizen or a British protected person to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas if that person makes application for such registration to the minister in the prescribed manner and satisfies the minister that he is qualified to be so registered under the provisions of the second schedule.
I got problems with all of that. Because that ain't constitutional at all. That's not constitutional. The Constitution doesn't speak to it like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, just watch the language now they're using. See, they're playing with words, but you can't fool one who is trained. All right? When it comes to persons who were United Kingdom and colonies, the Constitution is very specific
Mm-hmm.
as to who could qualify to be a citizen in the Bahamas under the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that the Constitution talks about, ordinarily resident in the Bahama Islands. And it also talks about others who could not be citizens,
Right.
who are of the United Kingdom and colonies. See, don't forget that now.
Mhm.
That's in our Constitution,
Okay.
meaning they cannot be counted.
Mm-hmm.
And what this particular thing is here, or the minister, you get all the power from. At his discretion,
Mm-hmm.
where did that come from? Come on. Don't be playing games with Bahamian people. Because there is no such thing in your Constitution. See, now, if you could show me the Constitution, that's what it is, then fine, I ain't got a problem with you. But as I know what those citizenship articles talk about, I don't see it there. So if
Mhm.
anyone in the audience who could say, point out to Professor Thompson, the audience, and the Bahamian people, that that's what it says, then fine. Because anything that lines up with the Constitution, no problem. But boy, when it goes contrary to the Constitution, that's when you can hear from me.
Okay.
Go on.
Let's go on. So this is 5.2
Yes, ma'am.
of the Bahamas Nationality Act. A person qualified to be registered under this section shall not be so registered unless he first renounces any other citizenship which he may possess, and if he is not a Commonwealth citizen, takes the oath of allegiance.
I hear that.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
shall we continue?
Yeah, continue.
Provided that where any such person cannot renounce his citizenship of some other country under the law of that country, he may instead make such declaration concerning that citizenship as may be prescribed.
And so what happens after that? You can't renounce, then what?
They move on to something else.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, see, just watch the language. Watch the way how they write this crap, man. The Constitution says you are to renounce the citizenship of that other country if this is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, no ands, no buts. So you're going on to something else, just like somebody else who mentioned Article 7 and left a huge section out. I can deal with that at a later time. But you see, this is the kind of thing, but this angry, get me very angry because you're misleading the public when you do this kind of foolishness. The Bahamian people are not living in the 1930s and 1920s. The Bahamian people are awake and alive in 2023. I am just thankful to God that after 50 years, praise the Lord, the people woke up. And I believe it was 4 things that caused that to happen. And everywhere I go, everybody wants to talk about Constitution, their constitutional rights.
Mr. Constitution.
Yes. And I tell them, I am so that, you know, I get carried away because, let me tell you this. I had dinner at my brother's house yesterday. Beautiful dinner. He invited all of us. And guess what came up? Constitution. Everybody eating now. I was the last one to finish because I was so busy talking about the Constitution. I forgot to even eat food. That's how I go. And I don't think I have a problem with it. But I hear what they had to say, and some things, you know, the Constitution say they have the right to their opinion, so I ain't getting into that. I tell them you could have that opinion. But Ms. Malcolm, when you try to make an opinion that you have to say it is a fact according to the Constitution, now that's a big problem. Right there, that's a big problem because that ain't true. Do not do that. If you have an opinion, then tell the public, this is my opinion of what I think it should be. That's fine. The Constitution allows for that. But trying to make it seem as if it is a part of the Constitution, which is law, it's a right to your opinion, that's law too. But don't make it seem as if it is law when it's just your view, your idea, your suggestion. Same woman in Baintown who got them 5 boys, the man in Fox with the 6 girls. Come on, man. People are entitled to their opinion. That's why I be very careful when I hear people talk, and I listen very carefully to what they say. Now, when they're going off course, well, then I say, no. They don't go that way. No, not at all. But no, the thing is, that's why we are so mixed up in this country today, because those who've been given the authority to run our national affairs have done some things which are totally contrary to the supreme law of the land. And you're seeing it play out right in this Nationality Act.
So I want to read a comment from one of our Facebook viewers. D'Amico Bain says, the Bahamas Nationality Act is unconstitutional and should be repealed forthwith.
Okay, I can't disagree with him. But I will tell you, when it passed before the highest court in the land, they will ain't checking for it. They'll glance at it and they'll say, but what does the Constitution say? See, they're going to tell you what does the Constitution say, and they're going to rule on constitutional law. That's the way it has to be. It can't be no other way. And like I say, Ms. Malcolm, there's some information that's coming out. It's going to shock the Bahamian people. I tell you, this team is working very hard because we cannot afford to make any mistake. You cannot afford when the salvation of your country is in the balance. And I'm trying to get people to understand, please keep listening to Global Radio, because it's important that you do. And there's another radio station, not a public one, a private one, that's going to be giving out a hell of a lot of information that is going to shock the Bahamian people. Because I got word of it, they informed me. Ms. Malcolm, being a constitutional personality, I myself was surprised because I didn't know some strange things. And Ms. Malcolm, it is documented, hardcore proof.
Wow.
Not no hearsay. Because see, when you bring something to me, professor's going to say, "Where's the evidence?" And I had to visit someone just yesterday, and gave me that information. I said, "Wow!" But there are certain personalities who are responsible for releasing it, and the Bahamian people, please continue to listen, because you are going to be informed. Like the lady asked what they're supposed to do. They can be told. Once I get the word, I will tell them. But we are a team. It's going to be a strong team of persons, and certain people have certain things to do. Ms. Malcolm, you're doing a good job here on Mondays, and I appreciate that.
I thank you. I couldn't be doing this without you here, though.
Exactly. So the thing is, that's why I'm trying people to understand. If you want to learn about the Constitution, you listen to Global Radio 99.5 every Monday 2 to 4 with Ms. Malcolm and myself. Because I'm going to give you what the Constitution says. Now, you may not like some things in the Constitution. I can't do nothing about that. I can't give you my personal opinion on that. That can't help you. So nobody asked me for no opinion. They say, "Professor, what does the Constitution say?" My sister pesters me with questions. And she would say, "Is that constitutional?" You got to ask yourself the question now, is it constitutionally sound? Because some people in key positions in this country are saying some things that are not constitutionally sound, and they need to be challenged. And they will be challenged.
Speaking of challenging, D'Amico says nobody never challenged the government on this issue.
Well, let me put it this way. And he has that view, and I'm not going to knock him if he feels that way. But let me just say to him, and I'm glad that he brought it up. And I think I should speak to it this way. The Bahamian people need to understand. Those of us who are doing this work, we have to be extremely careful. Very, very careful of how we move and how we look at these things. It takes a lot out of you. You remember I told you in the last show I was there, how the women in the background waiting, the Bahamian women. Child, please. You think you was man? You don't have them women to make you look good when I come on this show. Huh? They are the ones who make things go, Ms. Malcolm. If it wasn't for them, I can't function. I tell the men that all the time. The women are the best people to work with on these kind of matters, because when you give them an assignment, they get, boom, they go on with that and they do it. You ain't got to be wondering about nothing. It's done. And they bring it to me and say, well, here is it. And you go through it.
I have a comment on Facebook. This is a very interesting comment.
Yes,
this one is coming in from Sandra Carey. Sandra says, that means all these people that have citizenship based on the Nationality Act should be revoked?
That's correct. That is correct, Sandra.
You and Sandra won't cause problems in the other day, Professor.
They
You and
no
Sandra.
problems.
You're trying to cause problems.
We going by the Constitution. The Nationality Act is a fraud. That is a complete fraud because it's contrary to the Constitution. That's it. And you're going to see some shocking information coming out on another radio station.
What I don't understand,
Very
Professor,
soon.
this Nationality Act, you're saying it's a fraud.
It is a fraud.
This began from July 10th, 1973.
I'm glad you
We're
mentioned
talking
that.
almost 50 years.
Yes, 50 years of fraud.
So how come ain't nobody figured out this was a fraud before?
Ms. Malcolm, if I had known it was there, I didn't even know. As constitutionally sound as I have trained myself to become, I had no idea until someone brought it to my attention. And when I first look at what it's supposed to be doing, I say, wait a minute, this ain't no Constitution. Not this. The four things that are mentioned what the act's supposed to be doing, I was offended by that. I said, wait a minute now. No. Something wrong with this. even what they purport the act supposed to do, I had problems with it. Right from the break, just the title right in there, that offended me. I said, wait a minute, this is covered in the Constitution. So what do you need an act for? For what?
Mm.
And every single person is covered in that Constitution as it relates to citizenship from any nation on the planet. The Constitution doesn't leave anybody out, except those who don't qualify. Okay? So you don't qualify, you get nothing. But no, they ain't want that. They want to come up with some other funny things to give people job at the minister, this and the minister's, at the minister's discretion. Give me a break.
So we have a comment from Bruce on Facebook. Bruce says, I didn't mean to throw a curveball or to cause any controversy. Nationality is sovereignty. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen for someone or someone who is sovereign of that land. Wait. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen for someone who is sovereign of that land, was my point. I'm not sure.
Okay, let me see if I could clarify something.
Mm-hmm.
The Constitution says the Bahamas shall be a theocratic, democratic, independent, sovereign state. That's in your Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
We're a nation under God. If you come under God, but then you got to listen to what God say.
Mm.
But then if you don't want that, then change it. But don't tell me no nonsense. We know who the God is, the God of the Holy Bible. So let's not make no mistake about that. That's in the Constitution. Christian values, spiritual values, Holy Bible values. Ain't no mistaking about that. The people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas didn't want to build a nation without God. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Case closed. And we had the green paper, we had the white paper. Come on, man. I've been through all of that. I was there when it was happening. The first time young people were able to vote was in 1972, September the 19th, one day after my birthday,
Mm-hmm.
when the election was called.
Mm-hmm.
So the young people had an opportunity to decide whether we were going to be an independent nation or not. So now, if the Bahamas is a theocratic, democratic, sovereign, independent state or independent nation, state and nation, one and the same,
Mm-hmm.
interchangeable. Well, then the citizens, what are they? They're part of the sovereignty, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe he might be thinking something different. Maybe he could send us further more information.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to answer him constitutionally.
Right.
I don't want to suppose anything. Just like when you looked up the definition,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that. If that's what he meant at that time, fine. But this, what he just brought up, if he could just send us something before the show is out, and then we could look at it a little bit more closely.
All right. We have to take one more break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to continue comparing the Bahamas Nationality Act to the Constitution of the Bahamas, so we can see where the two do not meet.
Yes.
And this, I do believe, will give us a better understanding of what we see happening in our country
Exactly.
and why it's been allowed to happen for so long.
You know something? I never thought, Ms. Malcolm,
Mm-hmm.
that this would be the first piece of legislation in this country that I would tackle live on air. Because I always tell people when I was broadcasting that I am going to show them. I'm going to take one of those most recent things that were passed. That's what I had said at that time. And I'm going to strip that to the bone, take all the legalese out of it, and show you whether it is constitutionally sound, yes or no.
Mm.
But I never knew this one was going to be it. So close to the Constitution. They're talking about they talking Constitution stuff. Give me a break.
Stay with us. GPS will continue after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this Masterclass Monday with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. You can also catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974, so be sure and check it out. And If for any reason you're unable to watch the show in its entirety as we stream live, you can always go back to YouTube or Facebook and watch it then. And you can still like and share the show at that time. So, we're trying to share information with you guys that really is necessary for nation building.
Amen.
We want this information to be readily available, and that's why I thought it was important to start this masterclass series with Professor Thompson. And the feedback tells me that this has been a good decision.
Very good decision.
Because people are hungry for the knowledge.
Oh yes, they are.
Mhm.
Ms. Malcolm, I am just so excited that the Bahamian people, everywhere I go, people are talking about their constitutional rights.
Good stuff.
And I mean, for so long, it was going on. I was supposed to mention 4 things that I felt which caused this to happen. The passing of Her Majesty the Queen, September the 8th last year.
Mm-hmm.
The ascension of Prince Charles to King George III, I think it is, to the throne, September the 8th of last year. Of course, his coronation is going to be May 6th.
This Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah.
Is it this Saturday or the following Saturday?
The following Saturday.
Following Saturday.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Then also, 2 other things. Internal pressures that the Bahamian people have been experiencing for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And all they see is a growing problem. And the government of the Bahamas, the role it was playing in dealing with the national affairs of this country. And the 4th one, external pressures pushing the government of the Bahamas and pushing the Bahamian people in a direction that I know the Bahamian people are really interested in going. Now, now another thing what may have to be looked at, and when the gentleman called last week, Monday, and he talked about certain things that he felt should be done.
Mm-hmm.
But Ms. Malcolm, we got all kinds of strange agreements that they signed. I don't even know what all of them are.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to go and find all of them, and it's going to take time to thoroughly examine them to see what they say. Because we have signed some things which would be detrimental to the welfare of the Bahamian people. Of course, we could always change them. Once you have a national government in place that is interested in the welfare of its people, and the Bahamian people have to put pressure to make sure that these people stay intact. I don't care how good they may think they are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put pressure on them to make sure they stay on the straight and the narrow. And I don't want people to ever think that because these fellas ain't performing, there's nothing you could do. Oh, no. Don't ever fool yourself like that. There's always something you can do to change the situation. We are a democratic nation, not a dictatorial nation.
You sure?
Yes.
Because, we've had some leaders who weren't too clear on that.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Because
they didn't get the memo as it relates.
Yeah, they didn't get it, yeah.
No.
But now the thing is, see, the Bahamian people, and let me just say this, I'm going to forgive them because they didn't know.
You sure?
No, that's fine. No, I'm talking about
the
people now.
People? Oh, okay.
No,
okay,
not
okay.
them other fellas now.
Yeah.
Because, see, had we been putting pressure on them all those years, I was speaking about the Constitution, but nobody was checking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to hold anything against the Bahamian people. But boy, when their eyes open up and God let them see what's really happening, praise the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
See, now it's going to make my job much easier. I can enjoy every step of the way from here. So anybody talk about the Constitution to me, that's good music in my ears. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to communicate.
Let me read a couple of comments from our Facebook
Yes, ma'am.
pages. So Gleaston says, in the pursuit of the Nationality Act, the government has made themselves illegitimate, subject to litigation and lawsuit, therefore not solvent, and a new election must be pursued. I think they meant to say pursued, and persons hereby not able to participate being subjects of the lawsuit of the present members of government.
Well, I think the person is on to something. And I don't want to speak out of turn with what the team is doing, but there are some people that are working on some things. I'll just put it that way. But certain action will be taken. And the Bahamian people are going to be called upon to assist the team, because we know that once we have the Bahamian people with us, that's a winning team. You don't ever leave them out. I always tell people the real power is with the Bahamian. All you do is check Article 24.1. It's been there all that time, 50 years counting. Been right there. That last phrase in Article 24.1. Don't ever leave it up to any government to look out for your interests. Don't ever do that. I don't care how good they claim they are. That's the mistake that was made. But I forgive the Bahamian people since they say they didn't know the Constitution. That's no problem. But now that's going to be going forward from this day onward. Child, please. It can be a different kettle of fish. Because you ain't going to fool these people anymore. Their eyes are open. God miraculously opened their eyes. It had to be a move by God. Everybody all over the place talking about their constitutional rights. I say, go for it, my brother. Go for it, my sister. It's yours. This is your country. Not somebody else's own.
I have a question coming in from Marissa on Facebook, and she is asking, do we know who drafted the Nationality Act and why?
Yes, we can find out. It's the record is there. Who were there? Who did it? And basically, they were members of the Pinling administration at the time, represented the houses, and we could find every last one who was there. It's in the record. But it was under the Pinling administration. So Lyndon Pinling was the prime minister at the time, or coming on to be prime minister. Let's put it that way. So that information is known. We could find that out. There's no difficulty getting that. But now, what has to happen? See, we're going to, and let me just say, you're going to hear some other things that I'm not privy to say right at this point, but I'm going to tell you some shocking things that's going to cause the Bahamian people to put their hands on their head as to what's been going on over this 50-year span. This is supposed to be Jubilee year. And you're going to get some information that's going to cause your hair to stand on
Well,
end.
why y'all trying to mess up these people's celebration? Why y'all can't wait till the 51st year to bring this?
No. 51st year, July the 11th. Listen, 51st year, we ain't taking no crap from nobody. So I can let them finish with the 50 years. I ain't got no problem with that. But when you see that July the 10th pass, and
I was kidding, actually.
July the 11th, Ms. Malcolm, July the 11th of this year, we ain't taking no crap from nobody. I don't care who they are, because we will use that document to protect our rights, our freedoms, our privileges. So y'all go with your celebration.
So y'all bringing another kind of fireworks.
Let's put it this way. The Bahamian people have to get the truth. And we are leaving no stone unturned.
Professor, I only got one problem with what you're saying.
What's that?
Why are you letting another radio station scoop this information and you ain't bring it to us first? I got a problem with that.
Okay, well, you see, let's put it this way.
I only mess with you.
No, but that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I could mention the other station if you'd allow me. But the point is, I understand that other station is doing a good job in this
investigation.
Regard. Oh, yes. And they always consult with me. They say, I got to run this by Professor to see what his views are and what he has to say. So I am hip to everything that's going on. But there are certain members of the team that have certain responsibilities, and they have a responsibility to do. And I can always be working with them because they're constitutionally sound.
Okay.
Once you're constitutionally sound, I got no problem with you, because that is going to take us right to the top. And we don't have any choice. If we have to go right to the top, these fellas want to do foolishness, no problem. We're going straight to the top where we know we're going to get a ruling. But the facts have to be in place. Everything has to be airtight. You know, when I deal with the Constitution, I don't be playing. No. We got some interesting, hardcore proof.
Wow.
And it's going to shock the Bahamian people when they get there.
So after this proof is revealed,
Yes.
I hope that my show will be the first one you come on after this truth comes out.
Yes, ma'am.
You got to come here first. If I see you on any other station, it could be me and you.
I am glad you said it, Ms. Malcolm, because see, I made a commitment. And I am not going to go against that commitment. I'm going to call you and say, Ms. Malcolm, I got it. I'm going to be right here.
All right.
And put it here. Because see, the thing is, I keep saying to people, because when I ask the Bahamian people for a commitment, and I will, because I can't do it without them. I want them to understand Article 24.1, that last phrase, what I've been telling them for years. But nobody was checking. But now their eyes are open. They're checking. Say, what is my constitutional right, my constitutional freedoms? Everybody talking about Constitution this day. I mean, that's music in my ears. I love it. I'm enjoying it. And so while I know I have plenty of work to do, I'm going to enjoy every single moment of it. Whereas in the past, it was kind of a little lonely, but you gotta live with that.
I hear that.
They didn't know, so we say, okay, no problem. Now my people are destroyed, scripture says, my people are destroyed for lack of what? Knowledge. Okay? Now, see, they're getting plenty of knowledge since you started these master classes. We can't stop that now. We got to keep that going every Monday.
Yes, sir.
So I am committed.
God spare life.
God spare my life. I'm going to be here every Monday. If I'm not out of town or anything like that, I'm going to be right here Monday. We talking Constitution talk.
All right.
Amen.
We got to take a break, y'all. Time is just about gone in the show. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up. Remember now, we want to hear from you guys if you have any questions or comments. So I'll throw out the numbers one more time on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Longevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Longevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Longevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
All right, welcome back to the show. One more time. We only have about 10 minutes left in the show, so I'll throw out these numbers one more time. 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272 are the numbers to call. 8010271, 8010271. That's the WhatsApp line, and you can call us on there as well as send a text. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And you can catch us on channel 974 on cable Bahamas. So, I find that there are 2 days when we don't get lots of calls.
Yes, ma'am.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yes.
And the reason is because the information that's being put out on those 2 days, it's so much information that people are just listening.
Yes.
Not trying to call in just for the sake of calling in, but really taking in on the information
That is good.
that is being provided. And I think this is why on those 2 days in particular, we don't get a lot of calls, but it's not to say that people aren't paying attention.
Paying attention, yes, they are.
Yeah, I mean, the response that we're getting, and it's not just you, I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
I get some very positive responses from these shows as well. So I
That is
know that people are out there paying attention.
Well, that is a step in the right direction, because I think people need leadership. And, you remember the caller who called in last week, and she said she wanted to know what to do. And she mentioned the name of a particular personality. And see, you have to be very careful with that. See, my job is to disseminate accurate and precise information. If you follow the Constitution of your country, you'll know exactly what to do. You see, because people have to make decisions. People have to make decisions in their particular constituency. They are going to have to be constitutionally organized. That's what I said. Not just any old thing. According to the Constitution, that is your salvation document. The people today are not constitutionally organized. And I told that to the
Because
team.
they are too busy caught up in characters.
Yes.
And this is not a attack on any particular individual.
No, it isn't. That's correct.
But I don't understand why we don't get it in this country, why we keep making the same mistake over and over and over again, looking for a different result.
Exactly.
We like to get caught up in personalities.
Personalities, yes, ma'am. And that's why.
And the core thing, which you need to know, like the Constitution, you're totally ignorant about.
Ignorant of it, yeah. And
You're just following whatever this personality say and do.
And that's wrong. And that's why I'm glad you mentioned it, because, see, I told my sister, I said, one of the most difficult things I gonna have to do, I got to pray about it and even fast about it and ask God to help me. Party representation, parliamentary representation. The masses out there get all mixed up on that. Even those who are in the House of Assembly, those in the Senate, they get all mixed up. All you do is listen to what they have to say. Listen to the language they speak. Miss Malcolm, it's all over. I mean, how we get mixed up like that? I got to exercise the greatest degree of caution. And I said to myself, you know something, what I'm going to do when I discuss that? I go into every single article in the Constitution that speaks specifically to that. The issue of party representation and political parties. I haven't even called the name of no party.
No, because
Because I know how they go.
Right.
Then they end up getting into a big argument with this one and that one. And then the whole conversation goes out the window. You can't make no headway like that. So when I come here, I want to be honest and straightforward, constitutionally sound. I ain't coming here to say anything that I know is not constitutionally sound or is an opinion I got in my head. I want to. No. The Bahamian people will make the determination based on the Constitution. We've been making some very bad decisions. They're not constitutionally sound. We have to fix that. How do we fix that? We have to ask, what does the Constitution say about parliamentary representation? There's a lot to say about it, but we just ain't dig it up. And we have to act according to what the Constitution says. We will have better representation at the parliamentary level. Okay? The next one, you got the Senate. What is the purpose of the Senate? What is the purpose of the senators in that Senate? What are they supposed to be doing? Then you have the cabinet. What is the responsibility of the cabinet? Then you have the government of the Bahamas. What is the responsibility of the government of the Bahamas? They are persons who have labeled the government in a different way. But I speak specifically to the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's how it is in the Constitution.
Let me read a text that's sent to WhatsApp, and this is coming from Canada. I just Googled the area code to see where this is coming from, and it's in Canada. It says, I don't know why any of you Bahamians would believe any study that is done by your government officials. They come up with numbers and data that do support anything they say. When I saw that on your news, I had a good laugh. It's all a joke.
Well, I think there's a lot of validity to what that particular individual says. Now, we have a responsibility as citizens of the Bahamas to do our own checking. So while we have a government in place, and people got to understand how it is, the current administration is in place according to the Constitution. So we ain't got no problem with that. Now, what they do, that's a different kettle of fish. How they do it, that's a different kettle of fish. It is the duty of the Bahamian people to monitor what is happening and to take the appropriate action that is necessary to prevent that government from going contrary to the wishes of the Bahamian people. Do not let people write things on scraps of paper and say we're going by that and it's unconstitutional. I mean, where we get that from? We've allowed some things to run amok on us. Now we got to stop that foolishness. See if we can let them finish. Say they want to celebrate up to 50 years. No problem.
Because, we love a good party.
Well, that's fine. They can have the party. I can be working.
You're on here trying to mess up the party. It's a problem.
I can be working because, you see, after the 10th of January, I'm sorry, the 10th of January of this year, July of this year, the party will be over. Okay? July the 11th, that's the 51st year. That's a whole horse of a different color. And you're going to see some real changes in Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson, from that day onward. I say I can give them up to the 10th. Let them celebrate their first 50 years, which has been a disaster for the overwhelming majority of Bahamian people. People who lived and died, Ms. Malcolm. Every time I think about it, I'm saddened by it. They wanted a better country. They wanted to see things improve for themselves and their children. Now their children are here, their grandchildren are here, their great-grandchildren are here. And so the thing is that you have to look at it and say, what have we done to ourselves? You can't cry over spilled milk. The milk doesn't spill over. You can't scoop it off the ground. What we could do is, as of the 51st year, we ain't taking no foolishness from nobody. Whatever we need to do to stop it, then we got to move in and stop it. Just as simple as that.
All right. That's the point to end on because we only have less than a minute to go. Thank you so much, Professor Thompson. As always, you bring some good nuggets to the show, and I appreciate you. And
yes, ma'am.
God spare life. We'll be back here next week, Monday, going over this information. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you to everyone who listened to the show, whether by YouTube or Facebook or on radio or on Cable Bahamas, however you did so. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. But we got to get out of here. Tomorrow, we're going to have another very, very interesting show for you. Do not miss tomorrow's show. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are